during Adam and Eve times, there was no words for things such as good and evil. And this is because the tree of knowledge of good and evil hadn't grown within those people's minds yet. So these people understood that, a lot of stuff or whatever, but all these people, it was very common for them to know who God is and, be able to do true prayer and stuff like that. But once they began to eat from the tree of knowledge of good and evil, once they began to eat this fruit, they were no longer on the straight path to God. They just weren't because of the way they were living. And I'm going to explain how to grow the tree of knowledge of good and evil within someone's mind that doesn't know what good and evil means, like a primitive human society where, it's just an extended family that's a tribe, just living their lives, just surviving and passing on a good way of life to their descendants and knowing that that's the way it's going to be, eating off the land kind of thing. Anyways, to grow a tree of knowledge of good and evil within somebody's mind, you just tell them stuff. You're like, hey, you know who you think God is, that person, the type of person you think God is right now? How do you think they would look at that? Do you think they would look at that as good or as evil? Is that good or evil on your definition of who God is within your mind? And the person would be like, oh, that's evil or that's good, And if it's evil, a lot of times people react, and now we have prisons. We've created prisons and we've created, revenge and stuff like that. But anyways, yeah, the tree of knowledge grows within the mind of the human, and the fruit, when you eat this fruit, it represents judging somebody based on how you think God would judge them. Because as you know, deep down, everybody knows what's good. If you believe in God, that's how you look at it. What's in God's favor is good, and what's not in God's favor is evil. If it's not in God's favor, it's evil, and it is in God's favor, it's good. And this is why the concept of good and evil fluctuates over time in cultures, and this is also why on different places around the different cultures, there's different definitions of good and evil. And that's because we're all eating the fruit from the tree of knowledge still, We're still eating that fruit because we have that thought in our mind of how God would judge everybody and judge things. And we, accept it as truth within our minds. When the truth is, nobody would know what destiny God has in store for all of us. Because basically we're all growing our souls. We live, we grow our souls. Death forges the growth of our souls. And then, then there's all the unanswerable questions. But it's kind of like the religious thing. They say like the angels, they're created. Snap! Created, boom, create them. And we're grown. Difference. There's a difference there. Why? I don't know. Probably reasons. But anyways, that's besides the point. Yeah. The tree of knowledge of good and evil is simply a thought that grows within somebody's mind. And it's basically from a seed of half-truths. Yeah, a seed of half-truths, because it's their version of how they think God would judge people or things and stuff like that, and like ways of life. And that leads to a lot of bad things. It leads to like, hatred and wars and stuff and all this stuff. But the truth is, good and evil doesn't really exist. It really doesn't. Everybody that exists, God willed everybody to exist, and they know exactly how they're going to live their life and do everything, and they still willed us all to exist, so I don't see no evil there. God willed everybody to exist as we do, so I can't see how that could be evil, since God willed everything to exist after they designed everything within the realm of eternity in their mind. They willed it all to exist and let destiny take over, and this is, what's going on. Well, I look at it like even like I say God knows everything that's going to happen, Like, if I pray today or tomorrow or the next day, God already knows what I'm going to pray for, And maybe their response was, let's say I pray for something. I don't pray like that. Never mind. I just say what's up when I pray. Most of the time, I pray a little bit for myself. Maybe like 3 times in my life for myself. Pray for other people. Anyways, yeah, good and evil doesn't exist, you idiot. Think of it like this: when people came to the Americas, and found native cultures, which a lot of native cultures still exist, but think of like a native culture where they have no concept of owning shit. They just have their tribal life in the land, that's it. Nobody owns the land. They're just living there and they're going to die. They don't own it. They understand that, so they don't like own it. They don't have a bunch of, all the fruit from all the trees stored up in their house, and they're like, oh, let me have some, right? No, this is mine. You can't have none. They share it. They know that it's not theirs. It's there to share. Everything's to share, They don't have 20 bows and arrows in that they're storing. If they have more than 1 or 2 or whatever, someone else needs it, take it. They're all family, so they don't have those words like, the words for things like owning shit, because everything's shared. You know what I mean? But anyways, try to chop that tree down in your mind. Or if you leave the tree of what you think God thinks is good and evil or whatever, now you got to get rid of the tree. Because the fruit from the tree is basically, you're judging somebody. You're saying only God can judge people, but you're saying that God judges them this way and God judges them this way and this way and this way and this way. Who are you to talk for God? Who are you to speak for God? Quit eating that damn fruit.